Why do you support Trump?
I think that Kamala's strategy when she was running for president was a lot attacking the Trump and what he does and putting a lot of fear mongering. And I think her policy, she did have some like child tax credit, but she didn't have enough that persuaded me that would change what her and Biden did in the last 4 years before that.
Really? Okay, so attacking Trump and fear mongering. Well, I actually think that that's exactly what Donald Trump was doing, and I don't think that he had any policy. He didn't have a health care plan, a child care plan, a housing affordability plan, a plan to lower homelessness in the country, a plan to lower prices. None of those things did Donald Trump specifically have a plan for. And also, he would fearmonger all the time about the radical left, insane Marxist lunatics, right? Who Kamala Harris is not a Marxist. She's not a communist. He was just fear mongering. He also said that she would like lead to World War III, and then under his administration, what's happened recently?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just given off of. Let me think what I'm about to say. Okay, so I think from 2016, 2020, 2020, 2024, it's different time periods. But obviously, you can tell a lot of worse stuff happened, whether it's foreign policy, whether it's the economy with interest rates going up. Um, I know it's different time periods, but I just couldn't support like what Kama was saying. You know what I mean?
So the interest rates relate to the Federal Reserve. That's nothing to do with the president of the United States because actually the chairman of the Federal Reserve was put in place by both Biden and Trump. So it's like that nothing would have changed there. So interest rates would have been the same. The interest rates actually changed because of global inflation. So it had nothing to do with the president of the United States. In terms of the economy, what about the economy was Kamala Harris advocating for that you disagree with?
Well, when I look at from 2020 to 2024, as terms of economic conditions, as term as foreign relations, as term as the border, I think those are the three main things that were kind of neglected in her main thing. A lot of it was a lot of her campaign was based on abortion, and obviously I'm pro-choice, and I didn't think that Trump would sign a pro like the ban abortion bill like nationally. I don't think he was going to do that, and he didn't yet. But she was saying the whole time he would sign a national abortion ban. He didn't. I know there's some states that have a little bit harder for abortion, some maybe even illegal, but
Because
it's
they haven't passed.
completely
In order
different.
for him to sign it, they would have to pass it in Congress. Congress hasn't passed it.
I know
And
I
then
haven't seen a bill
also,
yet.
what specific economic conditions?
Over from 2020 to 2024. I mean, I don't have. I mean, I know you do these debates all the time. I don't have the specific things, but I'm just talking about regular day to day life. Like you look at gas, you look at eggs, you look at all this different type of stuff, and you look at the border. What is it? Was it
Okay, hold up.
15?
Let's talk about the prices first. How did the Biden Harris administration increase the price of gas and eggs?
It's not necessarily like I don't have the okay. It's you're questioning me on the specific things that they've done, but I'm just telling you what's happened under the presidency that like raised it. Like,
Okay,
I'm talking.
no, you didn't tell me what they specifically did that raised it. You just told me that it did raise under the administration. I'm asking you, what did they do to cause it? Because COVID happened under Trump's administration. I don't think you blame Trump for COVID, like being
No,
created or existing.
no.
You don't. So obviously, just because something happens under the administration doesn't mean that it's caused by that candidate. You'd have to look at external causes that could be an explanation for it. And specifically, when it comes to gas and eggs, I can give you external reasons as to why those specifically went up in price. Would you like me to do so?
Yeah, of course. I got another question. That's all right.
Go ahead.
So, like, if you look at the border, right? I mean, for example, you may want more illegal immigrants. I may not, whatever. But you can agree that we had a problem over the past 4 years about that, right? I mean, if you vote a Republican, that could be the number one reason why you wanted to vote for him because the border was just it was an atrocity about how many people were getting in per day. And when you look at Trump
Wrong.
now, that what do you mean that's wrong? The number of people that come in per day into from the southern border to now is it's night and day. It's like hundreds of people a day or few compared to 15 million in 4 years. Isn't that
I don't know where you
like
got 15 million, but like in terms of the specific numbers that you're providing, I just want to let you know, the number of people that you're referencing. I don't think that you even think that's too much. Let me ask you this question: would you be okay with 1 to 3% population growth per year?
that? I mean, that's for pretty much almost all countries, but yeah, that's
Yeah, you would.
normal.
That's 3 to 10 million people a year. So you're okay with 3 to 10 million people a year increasing in this country, but you think that 15 million people over 4 years is too much.
Well,
Okay.
population can come from birth. It could like it. from within the United States, it could come like there's different ways to populate besides being an illegal immigrant. Like it's
No, hold up.
of course
I'm not advocating for more undocumented immigrants. What I'm advocating for is that undocumented immigrants that have not committed violent crimes or bad crimes should be given a pathway to citizenship where they can stay in the country. And for anyone who's going through the process, who is going through the legal immigration process, that process should go significantly quicker. It should not take
okay.
years upon years upon years to be able to get into this country. This country's founded on immigration. Important core value of this country is immigration, and we should, continue to uphold that.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, I totally get that, but you got to realize, like, people are painting like Trump out for him trying to do this kind of stuff. Is like he's like all the protests going on. I understand why people feel that type of way because some good people were getting deported, even though most of the criminals were deported. The violent ones were deported first, as you saw. Now it's turning into regular citizens. But you got to realize, like
I just want to,
Obama.
disproportionately, it's nonviolent individuals across the board under Trump comparative to previous administrations, and also he's doing this so without due process. You have to understand how important of a process due process is, right? It is
Yeah.
fundamental. Him going against the Constitution, that is an incredibly horrendous thing, a constitutional crisis that he said was going to exist specifically for Hillary Clinton because she would have been an under felony indictment when he's a convicted felon in this administration.
Okay. Also, I mean, you got to look at Obama when he deported 3 million plus immigrants in 8 years. I mean, like, I don't see too many. I didn't see too many protests. I mean, of course, I was younger at the time, but
So
you got
you're
to see protests.
misunderstanding why the protests are there. Protests aren't there just because of the amount of people that are being deported. The protests are there because of the way in which people are being deported, specifically by ICE agents without identification, right? Without a warrant, without due process, being kidnapped out of their communities, stripped from their families. That's the reason why people are specifically out there protesting in this particular way. Does that is there another thing that I would say that like I also disagree with how the Obama and Clinton administrations deported people who haven't committed violent crimes or bad crimes? I can acknowledge that I disagree with that on both the Democratic and the Republican side, but then I also acknowledge that Republicans have no policy to make immigration faster in this country.
Okay. I mean that's fair. I mean, it'd be hard for me to believe. I mean, you could say that 3 million like illegal immigrants got due process from Obama. I'm sure there's cages that they got put in. Even you can argue
Wait,
even
wait,
worse
wait,
stuff
wait.
for
I
Obama.
just want to clarify. Under Obama, the family separations that you're referencing are in situations of abuse. The same way that there would be family separation of U.S. citizens if there was abuse.
Okay,
That's the
but you
same
got to
set of
think of
conditions. There are specific conditions when it comes to Obama. When it comes to Donald Trump, there weren't as many specific conditions, and there were significantly greater levels of family separation.
Okay, I mean, I understand, but you got to take it into context. Like, I mean, there's definitely times where ICE for Obama was definitely wrong about maybe abuse, and maybe it wasn't abuse. Like,
I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that. I was just clarifying
so,
something that was clearly wrong.
so I'm saying like only 150,000 have been deported so far, and at first the first couple thousands were violent offenders, and now but that's where I think like, and especially the protests that happen now. A lot of it is like in California. A lot of the like protests are violent. It's violent
Really,
protests.
I was there yesterday, and it wasn't
Well,
violent.
there's tens of thousands of different protests across the country right now. So if
Yeah,
you've been to
the
one, that
one
doesn't mean that.
specifically they tear gassed. I was in that area. The area that they tear gassed in downtown LA. I was on that street corner. I'm not trolling. Like the entire day I was on that street corner. No violence. Absolutely nothing. I left, and right after I left, they tear gassed it. I'm serious. No,
I
there was no violence. Zero.
okay, okay, okay. I'm talking. Okay, listen. I'm talking about videos I've seen from across the country of it being violent. Just because you went to one in
I
California doesn't mean that some are
wait,
violent
the
and some
one
are
in
not.
downtown LA that people are saying was violent, and that's a reason why there was tear gas. But
Uh-huh.
there was no violence that I saw at all. There
Okay,
was tear
okay.
gas. They tear gassed people out.
But can you agree that there's been some violent protests around the country that
Oh yeah,
haven't
I
been?
obviously agree that there's been some violence.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you disagree with all violence?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, well then you must not agree with the fact that Donald Trump pardoned people who pled guilty and admitted to violently assaulting police officers on January 6th, right?
Well, okay. I mean, Jesus, January 6th that's a different topic. But
Oh, that's different. That's different.
no. It's I don't like that he did that, but I'm just saying that has nothing to do with what we're talking about now. You
No,
know what I
that's
mean?
not violence. Beating police officers isn't violence,
No,
right?
I'm saying it's not good. I'm agreeing with you.
Do you agree that's violence?
Yeah.
So you disagree with it, right? So then why do you support him still? Because I mean,
based off of
imagine if a Democrat did that. Imagine if Joe Biden pardoned people who pled guilty and admitted to violently assaulting police officers.
okay, well,
What the
okay,
right's response would be to that? Can you imagine?
okay. Okay, let me tell you the two options that during the time. So Biden obviously wasn't mentally right, and everyone's saying that he was, which is everyone in his party said he
Trump
was.
isn't mentally right.
Okay, when I mean mentally right, I mean that he couldn't cognitively, like, you know what I
Yep.
mean. You know what I'm trying to
Donald
say.
Trump can't cognitively, do anything. I mean, he said windmills are
Okay,
causing whales to die in numbers never seen before.
all right,
He
all right.
said we should look into, disinfectant by injection to fight COVID-19. He said recently and actually promoted a conspiracy theory that Joe Biden's been dead since 2020 and that we have a robotic clone of him. So,
Okay,
like,
I'm
you
talking
know what I
about
mean?
from.
Like, this guy's unhinged.
Listen, both presidents have had unhinged moments and
Okay, you
unhinged
cannot give
sayings.
me unhinged like moments like that for either Biden or for Kamala Harris. Like seriously, there's not unhinged moments like
Remember,
that.
okay. When I mean unhinges, I'm saying Biden said some bad stuff before too. I mean, you got to realize Trump wasn't a politician, so of course anything that he says, I mean, like, I'm not saying it's good. Don't get me wrong, but
We're,
I'm
we're,
talking
we're
about the
explicitly
two.
we're talking about denying reality.
No, I'm talking about the two options that I had with Biden and Trump, and everyone's saying Biden was good. When I mean good, I mean like mentally fit. Like he could speak. He had good clarity. He had all this. I'm trying to be objective, not subjective here. Okay, so I'm saying
The
that
batteries, the
obviously.
sharks, the battery. If you jump in the water, you electrocute, and if you're out of the water, you die of the shark.
Yeah, listen, okay,
Which would you
I think
rather
it's
do? Would you rather jump in the water with the battery and be electrocuted?
okay. Wait. So when you watched the debate with Trump and Biden, you were like, okay, this is definitely like, would you still vote for Biden after seeing Biden's debate in front
Hell
of
yeah.
10 million people? So at your party, like 85% of your party
I
wanted
would take Joe Biden on an IV, right, on a bed for the rest of his life with cancer over Donald Trump any day of the week.
most of your party and most of the people in this live right now would have not switched their vote, but did not want to vote for Biden after seeing that, right? So when you get
I'm sorry.
thrown
Okay,
into a
hold
camp,
up. Let's take a second here. If people knew that Donald Trump was going to do this, would they have cared about that? Probably not. You know how many people would have voted for Biden if the election was held today, comparative to Donald Trump? A hell of a lot of people, even though
okay,
it is the case that we acknowledge that he has cognitive decline.
I'm trying to speak in facts and you're speaking in an alternative reality that we don't know what a hypothetical would. I'm trying to be objective here, bro. Like, you got to listen to
I'm
me when
sorry.
I'm saying
I'm
that most
sorry.
of
Do
your
you
party.
understand the value of hypotheticals? If you like, I genuinely, I really think less of you if you can't understand the value of hypotheticals.
I understand that it applies to certain contexts, but I'm just trying to establish a basis here on why I voted for him over
Okay, for sure.
your guy.
Before you do that, real quick, can I thank a few people and then let you get back to it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Love
You
you.
got
Thank you
some
so
good
much for the
donations.
$20. Thank you so much. I was in front of the courthouse. They literally got kettled. People waiting for them to either get irritated enough to incite violence or hold them until they were out till curfew to begin making arrests. That's so crazy. Nina, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Nina. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nina. MAGA conveniently likes to forget that Kamala, not Biden, was the candidate on the ballot. That is very true. Julia, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. That's so horrible to hear. That's so horrible to hear. I did see that. Aliyah, thank you so much. Aliyah, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Absolutely, absolutely. The No Kings protests were good. We're good. Love you. Thank you for the $10 again as well. I don't know how you have the energy to focus and sit down and go through footage to see what should be posted and what shouldn't. I have a headache and thinking about going through all of what I got. Yeah, I was looking through footage and stuff like that because I was trying to clarify what people were saying last night and make sure I knew everything about it, and also like I was like genuinely concerned. Like I just like what I heard. Like I really don't like the tear gassing peaceful protesters. That really pisses me off. KR, thank you for the $2, and then thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. Really appreciate the 5 Canadian. Thank you. Alrighty. And then I have a few more people. Chelsea, thank you so much for the $5. Satan's butterflies, thank you for the $5. All right, and then go for it. You can go. Confused trucker,
And
thank
what
you
I
for the
think
night star.
it'd probably be too long if you before you ended the live saying thank you to everybody. I get you got to do it during the live. Probably got a lot of people to thank.
Wait,
Um,
what'd you just say?
Now I was saying that you probably get so many donations, like you got to say it at between the live instead of the end of it because
Oh
it
yeah,
takes
yeah.
your
If
side.
I try to do it at the end of the live, that would be bad. Also,
That,
a lot of people who donate wouldn't be able to hear themselves being thanked as well, because it is the case that they might not be on the live the entirety of the live from the beginning to the end. So
there you go.
there's a few reasons, but go for it.
Um. Oh yeah. Okay. So after that debate, I was like, obviously, I'm a moderate. I don't. But I believe that I voted for the right candidate at the time. And when Kamala was thrown onto there, I really didn't like how, of course, like there's a process for it, but no one really voted for her, and she was the least popular candidate in 2020 for the Democratic Party. And you can agree, like that's true. She was the least popular candidate in 2020
What? No,
running
she
for
wasn't.
president. Yeah, she was. Out of all the Democratic candidates, she was the least popular.
Really?
She, yeah, she was. And I was
You want to
like,
bet?
I'm not a gambling man, but I mean, you can look it up or have someone in your chat look it up.
Oh, I have. I was
And
involved back then. I knew what was happening. She was around 8 to 15%. You know, there were plenty of people below her. I actually, the person I supported at the time had a hell of a lot less in terms of percentage vote than she did. So that's
Hmm.
especially how I know that you're wrong. I liked Andrew Yang back then. Okay. So I genuinely paid attention to those numbers, and I know that you're wrong.
Okay, I just I guess I looked at a different source, but and at the time when I was looking at like Kamala's like plan to be president, and she was talking about how Trump is a horrible person and he's a felon and all this kind of stuff and attacking his character, which is true. Like Trump is not like genuinely like a good guy. Like, but the thing is, that's not just want to captivate me. Like I'm like for me as a person, like I'm moving past that because he's already been a president, and that's not the way to go about attacking the campaign. Is mainly about policy. I know you've listed like tons of policies she's had, but she wasn't able to get it out in the way
I'm.
that.
I just want to let you know. I think you're actually like on the border insane.
Why?
She
Why?
actually
What?
listed policy. Donald Trump didn't give any. I already mentioned this to you. Donald Trump didn't have a health care policy. He didn't have a child care policy. He didn't have a housing affordability policy. He didn't have a policy to lower homelessness in this country. He didn't have a policy to lower prices in this country, yet he ran on that. He didn't have a policy
Okay.
or a plan specifically to end the Ukraine Russia war day one. Didn't do that.
Okay.
He didn't have a plan to drain the swamp. Like, he doesn't have a plan for any of the things that he's specifically advocating for. They're just like statements.
So the reason why he didn't, I mean, which is true, he didn't come out and say I have to do this and this and that. So from 2016 to 2020, we obviously COVID was at the end of it, but which did affect a lot. It did, but there was a lot of better things going on in the world at the time. Like people remember their gases being low and no wars. That was major. Like of course there's small wars, but
I
there wasn't
wonder how
any.
that went for them. Gas has
Well,
not gone down specifically because of Donald Trump, only because, or actually, you know what? Gas has gone down, but, from Donald Trump. You want to know how? Because we went from multiple quarters of multiple percentage points real GDP, several quarters of that. Real GDP growth is just GDP growth minus inflation. We saw several quarters of multiple percentage points real GDP percentage increase. And then once Trump got in office, quarter one, 2025, it went to negative 0.3.
okay, so
That's why.
let me try
That's
to
why we saw a decrease in prices.
reiterate this in a different way. So when I'm talking about the main things like border policy, um, foreign relations, economic conditions in 2016 and 2020, people remember their lives being better. In 2020, of course, there's COVID, there's different situations, but what people remember is a lot of failure. And when Trump's coming back in, he's saying that it wasn't bad during my time, it was bad during their time. And he's basically saying if she has
Lies.
so many if she has so many good policies that she wants to do right now, why didn't she do it or Biden do it during 2020, 2024?
Yeah,
Why
and
is it
if
so
Donald Trump
bad?
has so many good policies, why didn't he do it in his first administration? Do you realize how ridiculous of a statement that is for him to argue against Kamala Harris when he himself had an administration? Do you
I know,
realize how
and
insane of a position that is?